The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Silver mines, there's a kind-hearted woman. She's looking so fine, always taking care of her community, bringing folks together is her cup of tea. She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
And welcome to this week's episode of City Talk, and I'm About Town Deb, Debbie McCarthy, your host. I am back with Kim Surratt.
It's been a while.
She's been too busy. We've all been too busy. Life is, I thought it would slow down, but it's not slowing down. And
it came back with a vengeance.
It came back with a vengeance. But we're here because November is almost over.
It's true.
But it's National Adoption Month.
Correct.
And I don't think we've missed the show in many years to do a National Adoption Month show.
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have. So
like many years.
Many years. And it's really important. And why I always want Kim on, because with Surratt Law Practice, that is Kim's specialty. Adoption, all kinds of adoptions, in many ways to create a family. Because there's many ways to create a family and many types of families, correct?
Right, exactly. I cringe. This is the silliest thing.
Okay,
I can do a little side note.
Okay,
I have to.
You can do whatever you want.
Because in the state of Nevada, a lawyer can't call themselves a specialist unless there's an exam to take. So there's a family law specialty, but there's not an adoption specialty. So I can't call myself that.
Well, but
there's not even an ability for me to take the test.
Well, maybe.
But you're right. It's what I do. It is
but
absolutely my area of law. But it's my little soapbox.
Because
for a moment.
We were talking about it earlier about in her office. She doesn't want to share that. That's her baby. Well, it's her baby. It's her baby. And
adoption and reproductive law. Parentage in general.
And I feel like, it takes a special person to do that because I've gone through adoption, been adopted. I know there's so much emotion that goes with that whole process.
Well, maybe it takes a special person. I can tell you, well, what I think it takes is getting it done and getting where you have enough knowledge to do it. But because you'll talk to a lot of law students who all go, oh, I'm going to do adoption when I graduate from law school, or I want to go to law school because I want to do adoptions. It's always, it is the shiny object for lawyers. And there's a lot of lawyers that wish they had developed their practice around parentage and around adoption, but not everybody gets to do it ultimately. I'm blessed that I get to do it. I don't know that it's because I'm a special person, but I am blessed that it's all worked out in a way where I get to do parentage.
Well, I'm really glad she does, because we wouldn't be able to be here today to talk about Adoption Month. So I thank you for that. And another reason why I'm happy she's here today, because Kim has been the first sponsor of the show forever and ever and ever. And she will be 100% a sponsor forever, no matter what she does. Even if she says no, she's still going to be a sponsor. So we always like to thank our sponsors. So we want to thank Surratt Law. We love Kim. We want to thank GratisGives, credit card processing. And actually, I just got a new program with them. And you'd be proud of me. I went and I learned, and I could do my own invoicing now.
Oh,
that is a cool thing. It was so, I got to thank them, because the first program, I just can't do this. I had this block, and it took me, I'm like, I don't know. And then they found this new one for me, and I'm like, I'm a happy girl. I can't wait to go invoice. So you'd be happy. So I'm excited about that. So thank you, GratisGives. We also have, Grille. We all love Grille. It's beautiful. It's getting a little nippy, but they have a beautiful inside as well. Everybody loves to go outside on the patio.
They use heaters out there, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
But I think, still. And then we have
us Reno people are strong.
I know.
Sit out there with
She's a lot stronger. I get a little bit more nippy. And Wrye Plastic Surgeons and Rail City. So we're happy to have everybody on board with us, and Dee James, which Christian reminded me I need to get finish our song. He wrote the jingle, he wrote the song, but I need to get music. Instruments to it. So that's going to be for 2022. So we talk about, and Christian,
I was going to say Fenix Media.
I know that's next. We're going to do a show with Christian in January, because I think December's already filled. I book out a month out now. So January, we're going to start the new year off with Christian. So we were going to play a little clip, and I don't know if we have time. If we have time, Christian will let me know and we'll play it. We had an amazing weekend at the Sierra Foothill Fall. I kind of want to say Fall Fest, Wine Fest. So we're going to play it right now, and we come back, we'll chat about it. And welcome back. Wow. What'd you think? A lot of people.
I don't know if I like to watch something like that and just sit around and go, why am I in the cold in Reno right now? And why wasn't I there? And Debbie didn't invite me to it.
I invited everybody. I invite the world when I have stuff. But we always, when we go, we can go do personal stuff.
That's true.
We can handpick our vineyards and go hang out.
Exactly.
And we can stay.
You know what? Yeah, but there's still the opportunity. How many wineries?
Over 50 wineries, all in one spot.
All in one spot.
All in one spot. So it was really good.
Because anybody that's visited that area or any wine country area knows that, like, you know, you got to be careful. You have to have your driver. It's really hard to get between them sometimes. Why this is nice. And it's nice because you're not driving and you're not, putting yourself in danger.
That was good. So we're not going to put ourselves in danger. We're going to sit here and take a break.
Yep.
And we come back, we're going to get down to business. About Town Dev City talking right back.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
That'll be $73.11.
Do you have a charity that I can donate up to?
You just did.
But I didn't select any option.
It happened just by using your credit card. We recently changed our payment processing to GratisGives, who not only saves our company a ton of money on processing fees, but also donates a portion of every purchase to a participating local nonprofit.
Why doesn't every business do that?
If they switch to GratisGives like we did, they can.
Achieve real social change by contacting GratisGives at 855-464-7284 or online at gratisgives.com.
Don't miss all the fun and excitement at the new Rail City Casino. Play over 40 new hot penny slots, plus double down during the Party at the Pit Blackjack every Thursday through Saturday from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. And join us for Bingo After Dark every Thursday through Saturday night for your chance to win up to $1,000 cash. When you've worked up an appetite, visit the new Ale House for delicious specials to tantalize your taste buds. Visit the new Rail City Casino today. New slots, new games, and more chances to win.
After having my child, I was just thinking that I wanted to kind of get back to the size I was when I was breastfeeding. When I first came in, I didn't know if I wanted to go under or over, what size I wanted. I feel like they really took the time to educate me on all of my options. I've had a bunch of different questions. Paul himself has called and checked in with me. I was really expecting to be in a lot more pain than I was. It was a lot more pleasant than I was expecting it to be.
We can do this together!
All right, let's go!
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know!
I know!
You don't! Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No!
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this!
You will rock this!
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
Was the most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us.
She's out on the road and all over the web with a big smiling heart. It's About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town. This is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to City Talk. I'm with Kim. We are having an amazing time, relaxing because we've been busy.
Busy.
I think you're all busy as well because the holidays are coming and, Thanksgiving and then Christmas. And
I don't know if that's even it, though. It's just, things died off. There was those couple of months with COVID when it was just dead in the water. And we all know that. All businesses can say the same thing. But law came back with a vengeance in all categories, all areas. And so, I don't know. It's weird. People, the necessity to be a parent, the necessity to take care of your estate plan. I don't know. It just suddenly just boomed in everybody.
Well, I would think a lot happened during COVID. I think we all had a lot of time to sit and think about the future, our families, what's happening next.
A lot of reflection.
And then you think, okay, well, I haven't done this yet. I don't have a will. I don't have a trust. I don't have, what's it called? Your power of attorney?
Power of attorney.
Okay, what's the one like your decision to make that decision?
Your medical power of attorney or your financial power of attorney.
And I think that a lot of us, I know it's adoption month, but Kim, your office does all kinds of law, correct?
We do. All kinds of family law, estate planning. We don't do personal injury. If you go to jail, don't call us. It's not going to help you. But if it's family law or it's estate planning, which estate planning is exactly what you were just talking about. Family law, it's the whole gamut. I mean, it's divorce, it's custody, child support, all that fun stuff. But
it's funny. It's not funny. It's. We were talking about this because I wasn't planning on sharing this, but Grandma B, Ellie, and Glenda is smiling down on us. With all that was going on, Grandma B and Glenda and Ellie had not done it where you have something were to happen to you in the hospital. They hadn't done that.
Their medical directives.
And they did. They actually did it. But they all three did it together, decided, let's get it done. And I thought that was nice. I think that if you have maybe your family members or even like your friends, you can all it
goes all the way around. It's even with the adoption month. I mean, we can tie this back together easily because it's you adopt a child, you bring another human being into your family. You need to plan for them. You need to plan for the worst. And we don't want to execute on it. We don't want it to come to light. I get to plan for Armageddon at all times. But even in happy moments of an adoption, we still want you to think about the non-happy moments and make sure you've planned for that child that you're bringing into your home.
Well, and we're gonna wing it here because I want to bring up something else that brought something else.
Okay.
So thanks to Grandma B and Aunt Glenda who found Nana and Papa, which most of you know who followed me, they adopted me as an adult. So, and I was looking, there's many times you can be adopted. At birth, you can go, a child can be in foster care. And for me, it was kind of in a sense like foster care, but it wasn't. But, Grandma B found this amazing family, Terry and Tony, who raised me, but they waited till after I was married to adopt me. But they said, we need to do this because we need to think about your future if something were to happen to us.
Yeah. So adult adoptions are one of the easiest things we can do. And the thing about an adult adoption is that your bio parents, so if I wanted to be adopted as an adult, my bio parents don't have to consent to it.
Because
you're an adult. But you also don't terminate your bio parents' rights through an adult adoption. So you can gain some inheritance rights and tie that family link there. Where we see that a lot of times is a step parent that raised the child all the way through their minority. That stepchild's now an adult. Maybe that step parent lived with the biological mother and the biological father wouldn't allow the adoption. So now the step parent really wants to be also linked through inheritance, which an adult adoption can take care of.
But I mean, I got to say, I was so grateful because without that, and I got to say, Grandma B, I know you're listening, that Nana and Papa both said, we're doing this to take care of your mom as well. Yeah. And I thought that was really nice that they were thinking about both of us, not just me. They were thinking about my kids and about Grandma B. So I'm really blessed that I was able to have a dual family.
Yeah. We see, and I'm probably the firm in, well, I'm not probably, I am the firm in Northern Nevada that does the most unique cases. So anybody who sits around and thinks, oh, I don't think this is possible, I don't know how this could happen, call, ask, you'd be surprised what I can pull off, but adult adoptions, I think, are overlooked a lot of times and people don't realize they're still worried about terminating the biological parents' rights or that they won't consent. That's not, it's a different tool for adoption. It's a different tool for planning purposes and it operates differently than the traditional adoption people think about.
Yeah. So, but there are, like you say, your office though handles lots of different laws, family law stuff. So I thought now is a good time because we have Kim's website has this video and I saw it and she thinks I'm crazy. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And I watched it like 4 or 5 times. And I thought, if I can watch it 4 or 5 times in a row, you guys need to see it. So I'd love you to see it because it really shows all the different family. The family does matter.
Right.
And it's really important. So have a listen. We come back, then we're going to dig deeper into the different things Kim does.
Perfect.
So have a
I've had people say, I've talked to so many people today and you've been the kindest to me or the most patient with me or you seem the most concerned. If I have a wife on the phone who seems very distraught, I always ask if she's safe. Does she have someplace to go? We care.
We had a little 6-year-old sit on our couch one day and said, this looks like somebody's home. Well, that's what we want it to be. We want people to come in here and feel comfortable.
There's a lot we can do for our families now, from beginning to end throughout their entire journey of their lifetime. It includes surrogacy work, embryo donation, egg donation, sperm donation contracts. We've got adoptions, guardianships, all of the divorce arena, obviously, child custody, child support, through estate planning.
I'm always looking for ways to try to resolve cases, solve problems. I don't want to be the lawyer who makes things worse during an already difficult, challenging time for my clients. And that goes to having compassion for the other side as well. Even when it's not my client, until there's a reason not to, I'm going to try to give the benefit of the doubt to the party on the other side and assume that they're also doing their best to get through a really difficult time.
The way I look at it is we wrap our arms around our clients, we're giving them our heart, our soul, and we work as a team to make sure that when they come in here, you matter, and we take care of you from the beginning, the first day you walk in until, you don't need us anymore.
The whole entire goal is that the family unit matters, that we're protecting the family unit, or we're helping you create a family unit.
At the end of the day, this is someone else's life, and I would want the same type of service from someone that I hired. So this law firm in particular approaches that with humanity and grace, I think, in a lot of ways. So.
Wow.
You know what? I hadn't actually watched it in a long time.
Can you see why it's so touching? I have goosebumps, and
I'll tell you why. I have the best staff anybody could ever ask for. I mean, I have absolutely phenomenal staff, and I'm about to cry.
I know. I was crying watching it
because, you know, when we talk about compassion, we talk about families, we talk about caring. This is a hard area of law. It really is. It's difficult. I mean, I'm blessed. Again, I talk about being blessed because I create families. It's not always easy. There are miscarriages and there are things, you know, that happen, but it's a hard area of law, and we could be doing it just to make money and just to drain the daylights out of people, which there's plenty of firms out there that do exactly that in this area of law. And we don't. We always joke that we could be much better off. We could be a lot richer if we would act like the rest of our colleagues, you know, and our peers. But we're not willing to, because we want to go home and we want to sleep and we want to live with ourselves and enjoy our families. So it's, you know, that's about my staff more than it's, it talks about Surratt law practice, but I've got amazing people, amazing people.
Oh man, I didn't know it was going to be such a serious show. Usually we're fooling around, but I felt that this was important to, when Kim's on a lot, she helps with other clients and other topics that we have on, but I felt like a lot of people right now are about family. So I thought maybe you could share some of your insight.
Well, I was going to say, you know, we always, you know, we've got all these notes. We're going to talk about adoption and stuff, but
we're just going to go with what we want.
What we've never talked about on any of our shows is the failed adoptions, the when it doesn't go as planned. And, you know, of course, we have to deal with that on this end of it. The psychology of being a family law attorney is difficult, because if you think we don't shoulder your issues, we do. I mean, it's hard not to. How do you not listen to somebody bawling on the phone that they've had a miscarriage, that they've gone through years of infertility treatments and they can't have a baby, and not shoulder that a little bit? It's, you know, our job is not to shoulder it, to not make it personal, not make it about us. But, you know, day in and day out of that, it wears you down. And we forget about what the journey is that causes people to adopt at times and what brings them there.
Yeah. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about that journey. I think that's important. So stay tuned. Be right back.
That'll be $73.11.
Do you have a charity that I can donate a buck to?
You just did.
But I didn't select any option.
It happened just by using your credit card. We recently changed our payment processing to GratisGives, who not only saves our company a ton of money on processing fees, but also donates a portion of every purchase to a participating local nonprofit.
Why doesn't every business do that?
If they switch to GratisGives like we did, they can.
Achieve real social change by contacting GratisGives at 855-464-7284 or online at gratisgives.com.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Don't miss all the fun and excitement at the new Rail City Casino. Play over 40 new hot penny slots, plus double down during the Party at the Pit Blackjack every Thursday through Saturday from 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. And join us for Bingo After Dark every Thursday through Saturday night for your chance to win up to $1,000 cash. When you've worked up an appetite, visit the new Ale House for delicious specials to tantalize your taste buds. Visit the new Rail City Casino today. New slots, new games, and more chances to win.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us.
That's what she said. Come on, let's have some fun with About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town, this is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now, back to the show.
And welcome back to City Talk. I'm About Town Deb with Kim. We are kind of taking it a little more serious than we thought. But you know what? As Kim mentioned,
But your song helps.
My song helps. But we feel like it's important to, sometimes you got to have tougher conversations and interviews. And I think you were on a good point about talking about
their journey there,
so,
why they're there.
So continue about the journeys.
Well, I was just talking about, you forget about the journey of what brought them into the adoption. And people think about adoption and they think, oh, Kim, your practice of law is amazing. It's like, yeah, but not all adoptions go through. We do have failed adoptions. We have, first off, you're sitting with a couple who, and it's not all infertility problems. Don't get me wrong, because I do a lot of LGBT work. So I've got a lot of same-sex couples, two men who want to adopt a baby. So, it's not just fertility problems, but even with them, two men having to spend the kind of money they have to spend in order to adopt a baby or go through the journey they have to go through with foster care and everything else just to get to the point where they finally have an adoption that goes through. It's just as emotional as somebody with months and months and years, and it's not months, it's years of fertility treatment problems or devastation that you can't have a baby and coming to that emotional reality. When you take those couples and they're matched with a birth mother and the potential of an adoption, for Nevada, every state's different, but in Nevada, birth mother has until 72 hours after the birth to change her mind.
That's a long 72 hours. I went through that 72 hours. It is the longest 72 hours. And then you have 6 months later, whatever it is later. I had to wait for that too. So.
And it's hard on the potential adopting parents. It's hard on the birth parents. I get all these devastating stories of hospital staff treating birth mom horribly. How can you do this to the potential adopted parents? Because they're distraught, they're miserable, they're horrified if she's changing her mind. And it's terrible on that side. But then you have to think about the emotional side the birth mother, the biological mother, went through in coming to the decision to keep her child also, and that she went through months of agonizing, trying to decide if she was giving up her child or not. So both sides have the emotions. There's a lot of psychology behind it. There's a lot of therapy behind it that's needed. And I think that as a society, we don't always, I don't think, I know, we don't have enough mental health assistance in our country.
That's very true.
Let's just put it.
That is true. That's true.
I was beating around the bush. We don't.
We don't.
There's not enough help out there. We don't provide enough help. There's too much stigmatization sometimes around either side of that story. Some people are champions for the bio parent to change their mind and keep that baby. Others are champions for them not to, putting them in a category of, oh, they're all druggies. No, they're not all druggies. And even if they are, they need treatment for using drugs. They're addicted. There's something else going on there. So, and then on the other side, oh, you're stealing a baby from a woman, right? Or how dare you be upset that she changed her mind? Or how dare you take that baby? The stigmatization when you're in it is much higher than when you're outside of that bubble and someone goes, oh, adoption, how sweet. And how wonderful and how pleasant and what a great thing. And it can be a great thing. It can be a miraculous thing. And that child can thrive from it. But, a failed adoption, some people can thrive from that too. They can grow from it. Bio parents who allow their child to be adopted and they do an open adoption and they have continued contact, but that child is taken care of in a way they could not provide for that child. There's good, but then it's not all roses and balloons and lollipops and what other happy, cheerful things can I attach to
butterflies?
Butterflies,
unicorns. But so there are the two types. There's the open and the closed.
There is.
So is there still any of the closed? I feel like it's more open now. Or is there still people who say, I just want to do this and I'm going to step back?
We still have both. So for those of you listening and you're going, I don't have a clue what you're talking about. An open adoption is continued contact between the biological parent or parents and the child, whether that be photographs once a year or actual visits. Or just a letter when the child turns mile markers of the child's life or something. And closed adoption is they don't know each other's names, or maybe they did, but there's no continued contact, no relationship developed, no photos exchanged, nothing. Open adoptions have grown dramatically over time, and always compare it to, not to beat down on Catholicism, but there were a lot of Catholic adoptions that were against birth mother's will, etc., and she didn't desire the adoption, and closed adoptions were the norm in our history. And today, I would say open adoptions are the norm. There's a mixed bag of feelings about it, whether open adoptions are forced on biological parents or, forced because it's almost like, what was I going to say? Not an endorsement, a bribe for them to sign the consent for the adoption.
Oh, you mean to have it open?
Have it open.
Oh, like if you do open, I'll sign it, or the other way around.
The birth mother saying to the birth mother, well, you're going to get some contact, so it induces her to sign the consent. There's those feelings about it. If it's not a well thought out agreement for that post-adoption contact.
But that's why it's important to go to somebody who understands that, who can make sure as you're going through the process, every step of the way you're guided, so you don't get to a roadblock and go, I didn't know that. Right. And then you kind of backstep. But if you walk them through it emotionally as well as what they need
thoroughly
to learn.
in writing.
But but emotionally is just the writing's important. But I think if you don't have your mind in the right set of what is going to be happening, it's a tough. I mean, like you said, you think of it as, oh my gosh, this is amazing and it's incredible. And I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't have Josh if I didn't do this. But it was a very emotional, it was a long process to go through it. And I would do it again if I wanted to, but it was tough emotionally at the beginning.
There's that part of it. And then there's the old day version of closed adoptions, which was they never told the child
at all
that the child was adopted.
Yeah.
So what we have learned in the psychology behind it, and there's plenty of psychological research behind it, is that is extremely damaging to a human being. As they grow older, when and if they find out they were adopted, they are resentful. And the psychology behind it is that it's not as healthy for the child, soon to be adult, or maybe when they become an adult. In the old days, we never thought that there was any way, you know, once you signed that document and it was sealed at the court, that there was any way that child was going to find out they were adopted any other way.
But that's changed.
21andMe, Ancestry.com.
Yeah, you can find out anything.
You can. It is, you know, so people come to me and say they want a completely anonymous, either a surrogacy or egg donation, embryo donation, or an adoption.
And what do you say? I don't think so.
And I go, that's cute, but
years later,
it's impossible. It's just not possible anymore.
That is so
the
crazy.
Science won't allow it anymore. All they got to do is run those tests and then start tracking down who they're related to.
About that.
Oh yeah, this is how a lot of people are finding each other or finding their biological parents.
Wow.
And yeah, I think you used the private investigator, right?
We did, but we did do that. But
a lot of people are starting with the DNA test and then moving into that arena.
Yeah. Well, I was just, like I say, I used it more for finding my siblings. I did not know. I mean, I was trying to find my birth dad, but I ended up finding I had 11 siblings. And then all the other programs, or the 23andMe and Ancestry, helped confirm all that.
Right.
But it's just, you are right. We don't think about that. You think, oh, nobody's going to know. Well, it's out there. You can't change that.
And it's getting worse. And I just tell people, look, you don't even know what we don't know yet. You don't know what science is going to come up with.
And it probably has stuff we don't even know yet.
Absolutely.
It's already out there.
So, you know, if you think you're going to protect somebody and not tell them that they were adopted, or even now in my other area of law, my reproductive law, which is that you used an egg donation, a sperm donation, or an embryo donation, that kid's going to find it out someday. You know, there's a lot of people who used embryo donations. So neither, you know, even though their parents, their mom carried them and delivered them, she's not genetically related to them. And neither is dad in an embryo donation. So, you know, and a lot of people kept it secret, never told family that they used an embryo donation and stuff. But believe me, we're going to get on a whole sidetrack thing, but there's, there's groups that are advocating that it is almost abuse not to tell somebody that a donation was utilized or who their genetic links are from. So,
oh my gosh.
Part of that comes from the psychology. That's that open adoption part of it.
No,
you know, if you try to lie to a kid and tell them they're not adopted.
I mean, I think honesty is the best. I always say honesty is the best policy.
That's my life.
That's
it
your
works
life.
for me.
It works for you, but I think that's really important to know that. So it's already time for break again.
I know.
It's going by way too fast. So we'll come back. We'll try to find a little perkier spot of adoption, and then we're going to talk about what's coming up in the next few weeks. So stay tuned. About time down.
Now more than ever, family matters, and Surratt Law Practice has your family in mind. Kimberly Surratt and her team have been helping maintain healthy families through their holistic approach to adoption and surrogacy, child custody, estate planning, and more for over 13 years. Your family law concerns are in caring hands with Surratt Law. Schedule your private consultation with a compassionate Surratt Law Practice team member today by calling 775-636-8200 or visiting lawyersforfamilies.com. Surratt Law, where family matters.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. And they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't? Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No. Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this. To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the right seat. Cool. Very cool. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
After having my child, I was just thinking that I wanted to kind of get back to the size I was when I was breastfeeding. When I first came in, I didn't know if I wanted to go under or over, what size I wanted. I feel like they really took the time to educate me on all of my options. I've had a bunch of different questions. Paul himself has called and checked in with me. I was really expecting to be in a lot more pain than I was. It was a lot more pleasant than I was expecting it to be.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at phoenixmedia.us.
Help from her toes to her head. Just give her a shout. Call About Town Deb.
My town, your town, or any town. This is About Town Deb presents City Talk. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to City Talk. I am here with Kim, and we're talking about adoption. We're talking about families, and we've had some tough conversations a little bit, but lots of good stuff. We had we have more good stories to come, so I can't wait for that. But speaking of good stuff, I always do it by quote of the week, and I always say hi to Grandma B and Aunt Ellie. So hello, Aunt Ellie, just so you know.
Aunt Ellie.
I'm going to be saying that now.
Aunt Ellie.
she's going to be loving this right now. So this is Aunt Glenda's. Is that like a shell? I don't know, but I really like it.
Maybe.
It
looks like one.
And then anyway, so I got to go shopping in there when I was in Palm Desert with them. So I have some new earrings, all kinds of new stuff. So I'm grateful that I can have a part of Aunt Glenda with me all the time. So here's the quote. It'll be really quick. Spread love wherever you go. Let no one come to you without leaving happier, Mother Teresa. And I think this is the perfect time of the season that we should reflect on that.
Oh, it's Thanksgiving, of course. But let no one come to you without leaving happier. And so how do you do that? You give thanks, right?
I like it.
It works.
Important. And it kind of goes with my quote, together we're one heart, not my quote. But what's my saying? Together we're one heart.
It's kind of your
quote. It is my thing. But I really feel like we need to take time to just, relax and enjoy and have grace with ourselves and know that,
not always easy with that.
It's not always easy. And I know you
take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy the season.
Like keeping it real. I'm telling you, when Kim came in, she was exhausted. I was exhausted.
And Kim ridiculous.
Is always crazy busy. So I think we might want to chat about what you've been doing next.
We just finished another legislative session.
So did you pass anything? Get anything going? I'm sure you probably have.
Always. Every 2 years.
That. Okay. So what happened this year?
So this year we passed an adoption bill.
So
we're right on topic. So it's called AB 115. That's boring part.
AB 115.
Whatever. Anyways, so what it allows is for a child to have more than 2 parents. That might at first blush make people like, huh? What are you talking about? But the step parent example I was just giving a little bit ago. So you've got 2 biological parents. They get divorced when the child is 1 year old, and one of them remarries. Step parent raises the child all the way through minority. We have had many occasions where that step parent has asked, "Can I adopt my stepchild?" I've raised the child. And bio parents, both of them are like, sure, but the law didn't allow it. We had no
the law
means
wouldn't
for it.
do it, even though the parents were okay with it.
Correct.
The law
even if they consented, I did not have a way to do it. I also didn't have a way to get 3 parents' names on a birth certificate. So this resolved that problem.
Oh my gosh.
Us. And so, it's from a step-parent perspective, I'm sure there's plenty of step-parents out there listening thinking, absolutely. And even if both bio parents aren't completely involved, one's checked out, that's, again, another strong scenario where step-parents going, well, the checked out parent's willing to consent, but doesn't want to terminate their own parental rights just for me to adopt. Because we could do that. We could have one parent terminate and the step parent could adopt, but I always had to have one terminate. And so there are too many versions of families that exist. And family, the definition of family for me is extremely broad. And the people I work with, the families I work with, it is endless how many descriptions I could give you of different kinds of families. I'll give you a really upbeat story to go with it.
We're ready for this.
So young man, when he was little, he lost both of his parents in a car accident. Both of them passed away. And his grandparents both adopted him. During COVID, he lost both of his grandparents.
Oh my gosh.
He's 17 years old. And his uncle needed to adopt him to get him through the rest of high school and get him off to military. And he didn't want his grandparents removed from his birth certificate. It was destroying him. But, you know, there's a lot of reasons why it is easier if the person who's signing off and giving you consent as an adult to do things is actually on your birth certificate. You can think of all the practical situations, right? So based on this new law, we were able to have uncle adopt him and keep both grandparents on the birth certificate. And
that gives me goosebumps.
All three can be on the birth certificate.
I think.
Sounds simple, right? Sounds like we should have been able to do it already. It was very difficult to pass, but we got there. We got it passed. People just had to wrap their brain around examples. You have to give those stories and they have to feel it and know it. You know, I've had kids lose both parents and I've had two sets of aunt and uncles that are all raising that kid. And, you know, it is just easier if they're all raising. It takes a village in so many circumstances. And there are cultures out there that literally do that. The bio parents don't raise the child, the extended family does. And it really is a village in some cultures. And we're finally recognizing that in Nevada. It's a great little law. Is
it only in Nevada?
Yes.
Okay.
There are states that will allow more than two parents on the birth certificate, but we're the first state to put it into our adoption statute the way we did.
Oh, I love that.
So, we're really, cutting edge again. We really are. On parentage, Nevada is one of the first.
You know, that really would have been amazing if we had that years ago.
You can think of different scenarios.
Oh my gosh.
If you just think of so people you knew and people you know, and
and how it would mean so much to everybody to know that we're all in this together.
Versus we were waiting till they became adults to do these step parent adoptions, adult adoptions, and they don't have to do that. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So, and you could have the different names and, you know, the different last names and nothing, you could be.
Yep. Well, believe me, there's everybody nowadays, the modern thing is not.
You keep your name, right?
Yeah,
I was going to say that because
exactly.
No.
Changing your name doesn't always happen, but you should see, because I work with a lot of international clients. So I get, 5-6 names for one person, but
Wow.
Yeah. No, it's exciting. And it seemed like an edgy thing to do because you did have, certain judges panicking, going, what? We're going to have a custody or a divorce case with 3 parents. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I see. I wouldn't have thought of it like that.
There was a little bit of panic, but the reality is that's how they're living anyways. Why would you not allow this to happen and then tell that third person, the step parent, once there's a divorce, that they're not a parent. They don't get any access.
And after they've been there the whole time.
And they're
connected and they have that bond.
And if the parents want to consent, I'm a firm believer in letting people make their own decisions over their own families and their own way of doing things. Why would I interfere with that?
No, I agree. So I'm just throwing this at you. Can you think of another heartwarming story of any kind of adoption that really touched you? I mean, I know we know one, but is there?
Yes. So I had talking about those Catholic divorces in the old days where there were sealed files for closed adoptions. I had a elderly woman pass away in another state, and she created a will And in that will, she gave all of her estate to the child she gave up in the adoption. Now, adoption severs that inheritance right, but you can still gift in a will or an estate, a trust, it was a trust, to anybody you specifically name. Well, the problem was a sealed file here in Nevada where the adoption originally took place. So we had to jump through a bunch of hoops. We don't unseal adoptions without like a lot of scrutiny, a whole lot of scrutiny. So I had to go to the judge and say to the judge, I have, I don't remember how much the money was. It was like $300,000 sitting in my bank account from a bank
that needs to go
in this from this other state that needs to go to a person who we don't know who the person is. And if I could unseal this file so I could see if we can find this child that she gave up for adoption 30 plus years ago. Court allowed me to do it under really restricted regulations, which was I couldn't say to this person when I found him, if I found him, that he was adopted, because we didn't know if he knew he was adopted, right? And I couldn't disclose names. I had to do it all confidentially. So I was under a court order. So we look it up. We find the person. The person still lives in the greater northern Nevada. And call the person, no answer, do the door thing, Facebook. I took everything I had to convince the person I was real. I'm like, look, I have a real firm. I have a roof over, I have a license. Came to my office, sat him down, didn't tell him why. I said, I have a check for you. It's through it's an inheritance, and here's a $300,000 check. And he goes, can you tell me why? I said, no, I can't, but it's written out to you and it's your check. And he goes, does this have anything to do with me being adopted? Oh. And I said, oh, thank you so much.
Because now you could tell him.
Because my sister told me, but she was really mad at me and told me when I was 10
that I was adopted.
And he said, he goes, but you don't understand. This kind of thing doesn't happen to me. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I don't get breaks in life. I'm a blue collar worker and I work hard for every dollar I've got, but I've never gotten a break in my life. 300,000 can change a person's life right then and there.
So you know what? There's good stories, lots of good stories.
And a good reason to do estate planning.
Yeah. So we covered all that. So I wanted to end on an amazing story, and I love it. That's perfect. And I want to thank you. What is your website?
www.lawyersforfamilies.com.
Yes. And next week I will be at Hall and Wrye at their office. You can actually see it there, and save the date for December 11th. It's at the theater. It's Magique. And we're going to be doing a fundraiser for Children's Cancer Foundation, private wine and bubbles and chocolate pre-show. And then you got the magic show. Then you get a behind the scenes show, and any of the extra ticket prices all going directly to the Cancer Foundation. So see you next week. Remember, together we're in heart. Thank you, Kim. And happy Thanksgiving.
I know. Take a deep breath. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Take a good break.
And be kind. Be kind and eat lots of turkey, or if you don't eat turkey, eat lots of vegetables. I don't know.
There you go.
Or lasagna. I don't know. Anyway, so thanks to all of our